Hello, and welcome to another ALTTPR Season 3 Team Race League in the Open Conference Division. I don't know how they really define this. Not the Invitational. Here on the ALTTPR League on Twitch. I am Worldwide Wimpy. I am joined by Danny Music. How's it going, Danny?
Hello, Wimpy. I am doing pretty well. Looking forward to seeing some Ganons go down as soon as possible today.
Says we have a race between the Black Lotus and Noble Fox's topplife. Shippou on the left of the Black Lotus team. Obscure Lifeform. Nobly, the foreign for the Noble Foxes, as we see ourselves with our two teams split up. One going to the Uncle start, the other doing a Sanctuary start. One going left, one going right. Left leads you to the Village of Outcast. Right is going to be a Houlihan.
Interesting play getting money early. That would... With the co-op races, you typically don't need to open as many chests, so having a stash of rupees is good in case only one person needs to check Zora and not the other.
As we see Shippou head over to the Lumberjack check, we're going to see what's inside this hidden tree cave. We've got ourselves $50 dues, so no need to pull Lumberjack should you need to do AGA 1.
The Hoarder Crab has fairies, interestingly enough.
And a tree pull has some explosion blueberries.
That's good. So all the players have plenty of bombs heading into Kakariko and the other things. Nobly is going down to South Shore instead, and might possibly do Mini Moldorm Cave if they can find some more bombs and or weapons.
As we had an S word in the mushroom spot and a mirror inside of the dam. We see topplife doing the escape sequence here. No weapons, going to have to use bombs.
Yeah, with bombs being on that tree pole, it's not quite as much of a priority to hold on to bombs as it would be in other seeds. So I like this escape play, and it allows the players to be able to multitask and share information.
Nobly with 3 bombs, unfortunately not enough to guarantee yourself going through Mini Moldorm's going to elect to go ahead and go do Agina's Cave in the desert. As we get a first look into Blind's hut, we have ourselves $20, a Pizza Hut, another Pizza Hut, and $20 more. Inside Agina's Cave, we have ourselves, if I'm able to see, a full heart container. And some literacy in Blind's hut in the back behind the exploding wall.
Yep, just appears to be literature there. Could potentially incentivize an early Desert and Agina play from Shippou.
As we get to see topplife chuck some pots at a ball and chain, get that big key, and get the last check in the front of escape. It's just a map. A bug net underneath the well inside of Kakariko Village, along with the flame and some boots.
So just like that, Desert is now not only accessible but completable. Except for the pair of gloves. I was just about to, yeah.
But that is definitely the next density area for Black Lotus and Shippou as he finds some new fashion from the bottle vendor. As Obscure Lifeform is not far behind in Kakariko Village.
Also a sword or a cape away from doing Aghanim's Tower, which, being that this is all dungeons, they would need to do anyway.
As Top is heading over to get his boots and the lamp from Kakariko. Same thing
there.
For...
Shippou finds the gloves in the back of the tavern.
So yes, now, Desert is going to be the big play for our runners right now. after we see what's in the library and in the hedge maze.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate situation for Nobly, given that Nobly had already checked the Agina area previously, but Rando is how Rando is, and it's not a bad play at all to make.
As you see, just $20 inside of that hedge maze. We get some overlap here from our runners. All of the progression so far in the seed being in Kakariko Village. As we see Shippou heading down, going to find that mirror inside of the dam. And make their way over to Desert Palace.
Haven't seen Mini Moldorm Cave yet either.
As we're doing some overlap here, just want to remind you guys, we do have the Invitational League going on currently on the Speed Gaming channel networks on Twitch. If you want to see some elite runners in Link to the Past randomizers, run in team format, you can go ahead and check that out. The schedule's up at the ALTTPR for you to check out any of your favorite runners or teams. Times and racers are subject to change. So we get our first look inside of Mini Moldorm Cave. $20, $5, Bombos, $300, and a single Arrow of Destiny. As we see Topplife enter into the back of Escape. Full heart, and a rupee. That means the small key is in Darkcross. As Shippou goes through his Mini Moldorm, not going to find anything interesting besides that Bombos. As Topplife is heading over to what looks to be a Sasraladida, or Sasrala if you want to be proper. Gonna find out where that green pendant is if we haven't done a map check already, and check 3 chests that are in the back. Able to bonk into that wall, not use a bomb, and get yourself some rewards.
Yep, Shippou is doing the Mini Moldorm and Ice Cave play as opposed to Desert. So Obscure Lifeform is going to be the first one heading into the now fully completable in Logic Desert.
That's interesting. Shippou decides to go do Ice Rod Cave. No Moon Pearl, but you can fake flippers to go into doing Hobo. You can check to see what's on the island, and then maybe go give yourself a ledge check. But not a bad play here to go ahead and say, well, we've got everything to clear Desert. Let's go do that.
Yeah. Especially with only 380 rupees, wanting to hold on to get that remaining 120 to push to get Zora in the meantime.
Yeah, 1 check and 2 pieces of information is nice, but when you've got a full clearable dungeon, you have to do anyway, and it's fully in Logic, just go do it. As we're getting a peek inside of Desert here. Small key on the torch, so those boots were definitely necessary. As the first chest was only a map. Our runner's not going to be lost inside of Desert today.
And it looks like Topplife is going to be heading up towards Death Mountain. We'll be able to check the stuff on the west side. Since Topplife did not pick up the mirror yet, won't be able to get all the way up to Tower of Hera, though. And we found the powder in Desert from Obscure Lifeform.
Nothing like sprinkling some magic pixie dust onto your enemies to turn them into blobs.
And Topplife does not go up to Desert as I thought. Topplife is doing the Lost Woods checks instead.
Needs that sword from the mushroom check. Probably gonna go get the mirror after this, and then make their way up to Hera. Though I guess you could go ahead and get the save and quit spot, go get the mirror, and then head up.
That's a good plan.
Either way, it's only 2 checks without that mirror. It opens up to 5 total checks. 1 out of, 1 is in Logic because of the lamp and glove, so yeah.
And with the book, you can also read that ether tablet.
As we see Shippou using that mirror to its fullest effect here in desert. Go get that small key. I don't want to run all the way across. I'll just mirror and use this right-hand side. Just a little piece of love from the old man in his cave. Toplife's going to go up to Spectacle, see what's on it and in it. Very interesting he's doing this now. He's going to have to do an additional mountain climb to go ahead and do Hera. With that mirror, Hera is in full logic, so...
Ice Rod on top of Spectacle Rock. And Hammer inside it, so left side desert turning out to be quite a lucrative play here. That also enables Toplife to proceed onward to right side desert, or right side Death Mountain after picking up that hammer.
Yep. It looks like he does have the mirror, so yep. Gonna get that hammer, gonna get that ice rod. Unfortunately, that ice rod would have helped with desert here on Lamola's versus a fighter sword, which... it's one of those fights, it's not hard, it's just tedious.
Yeah, Obscure Lifeform has to be a bit careful with just a heart and a half here, but with that blue mail should be able to do this no problem. And does.
As we see Nobly going through Hera here with that stop hammer time, smacking those Helm Beetles is nice and easy. Die to one hit. As we find a green pendant in desert that adds in another additional check for our runners. As Shippou had just enough magic to go ahead and get on through to the other side of this desert wall. As we get a peek inside of Hera with Nobly and Toplife. Toplife finds the big key in this first room of Hera. I think they call it... I always forget what they call this room here. Ooh, the flute on Hylian Island.
That is a big find.
Map and small key in the petting zoo for Hera.
Going to be wanting those flippers soon.
$20 in this big arena room in Hera. So one more item to find. Is it going to be on Moldorm? Is it going to be in the fire-locked basement? We're going to find out here momentarily. More than likely going to be seeing hammer strats from our players as we see Sastra's Closet being done by Obscure Lifeform. Did you happen to see what green pendant was?
I did not happen to see what green pendant was, unfortunately.
That's fine. I'm looking at the tracker. We got our wonderful trackers today. Thank you very much. Let me go ahead and pull up their names since I do not have them currently on my list. We've got Dark Diplomat and Duodeca as our fabulous trackers. You can follow our runners, your commentary, and your trackers by hitting the command !R or !C. Please follow us. We all run Links to Past Randomizer. We all hate ourselves. That's why we do it. Nothing like abject misery going through a randomizer seed. As Moldorm's prize today was just a compass, so the item in question, the second one for Tower of Hera, is in that firelock basement. Our runners are going to be able to get through that, no problem, as Shippou and Obscure Lifeform do some backtracking to catch up to get that progression.
Yep, and since we found the hammer, we'll be able to see the east side of Death Mountain, and it's 8 checks very quickly, not to mention getting to see the floating island. So Toplife coming into that basement, and Shippou has just arrived at Death Mountain and will likely be following suit. After the wide variety of plays that we were able to have at the beginning, it has kind of all coalesced onto Death Mountain for all 4 of these runners at roughly the same time. However, we haven't seen the early checks in Eastern Palace yet. There could still be something there.
Now with the full right side of Mountain still ahead, that's definitely going to be the last place our runners are going to be looking at. You'd really like a bow before you head into Eastern, though. But with that lamp, that opens up everything but the check on the boss, so you could find 3 items in that front of Eastern.
Indeed, and Topplife finds the Moon Pearl in the Hera basement after waiting such a long time for those floor tiles, and that means that Topplife now has Dark World access.
Yeah, what is a quite nice linear seed. All of our progression early on was in Kakariko. Now our progression up the mountain with everything we found inside of Kakariko Village. As we get a look inside Spiral Cave from Topplife, we have ourselves a bow inside a Paradox Cave.
Yep, nobly finds that bow. Just like that, both Eastern Palace and Desert Palace are now, or not. I keep on saying Desert. Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness. Thank you. Are now
together.
Completable.
Yep. That's going to be nicely put together by our two teams here. You get to do Eastern and Desert Eastern and Pod back to back.
Yep. Thanks to finding that mirror as well.
As we're gonna see what else was inside Paradox from Topplife. Gotta kill these mini Moldorms. No big deal. Nobly heading over to Kakariko for some reason. And a hook shot in Paradox Cave. This is an interesting play from Nobly. You're ahead of your partner. Go do Pod and Eastern, but they have to have a plan or something. They might have divided this up equally, saying, hey, whoever's trailing, you go ahead and get the 2 things that we can link together. I'll go and do this other stuff.
Right, and Thieves Town is still in logic, and you're going to generally want to be checking the Village of Outcasts stuff at some point anyway. Plus, with the mirror, you can get to Graveyard Ledge and see what's on Bumper Cave as well.
Yeah, it's just Thieves Town, Palace of Darkness, and Eastern are generally quite linear. There's not too much you can do. So it would make sense that if you have someone who's a little bit behind and you can have them go do 2 dungeons at once, you can, as the other runner who might be ahead, go ahead and say, well, I'll just go do the stuff that's kind of single out there and we'll be fine. It's tough to say what is the best strat when it comes to co-op. Do you want to play follow the leader, or do you want to kind of just divide up as you're going if it's not a linear seed, which this has been so far? As it was just a Pizza Heart or a full heart container inside a C-shaped house. I saw a full refill, so... Let's see what's inside of the brewery, as Topplife also elected to go into Thieves Town.
Yep, Topplife starts on Thieves Town, full heart container, and it looks like Nobly is not going to be far behind. Obscure now picking up that Moon Pearl, and we'll probably continue on to Paradox Cave to get that hookshot in the meantime.
Yep. Yep, you want the bow and the hookshot out of Paradox Cave. Spiral Cave is absolutely useless to you. No need to go do it. So you're just going to hop right off the ledge here. Shippou decided to take the long walk inside the cave. To get through Thieves Town once again. You can check out lots more racing action here on the ALTTPR League later today at 7:40 Eastern. We have a matchup between the Land of the Blind and a new Hyrule Order. That's Ben Creighton and some scrub named Worldwide Wimpy versus SEJ versus McMonkey. And another co-op, all dungeons seed here in the Open League of ALTTPR Season 3.
Alright, so the runners are making their way. Shippou and Obscure Lifeform are both going to check Hype Cave, and I think it likely that they'll proceed upwards from here for that pod and Eastern play. They can also check the Bombos tablet, but can't actually get the item yet.
Yeah, I would imagine they would orphan that off to do with either chest or doing it with Swamp Palace. It's more likely they're going to be looking at probably maybe a pyramid look, as we find half magic in Hive Cave, some cash, and a plastic shield that only protects us from arrows. Alright, as we see topplife hit blind cell. No small key yet. If we don't find the small key here, it is inside the big chest. As we find another plastic shield next to blind. So the last item is going to be on the boss in Thieves Town. No need to go check that big chest.
And Shippou and Obscure Lifeform are both making their way right to pod. Shippou getting Sahasrara's closet in the meantime. Neither of them decided to diverge and check the pyramid ledge. Which, given that you also have to do Aghanim anyway at some point, is fair.
And Shippou was the one that received the green pendant from Desert for the Black Lotus, so it makes sense that he would go ahead and just turn in the green pendant here. As we get our first look inside of the Palace of Darkness. Our first chest here is a small key. We were not bow locked, but we have that bow to complete the dungeon anyway.
Yep, finding that small key there makes the routing a bit more convenient during the beginning section, but finding the mirror makes it even more convenient.
Alright, as we see our first completion of Thieves Town from Topplife, nothing on blind. Thieves Town was absolute trash. That's okay, we needed to do it anyway. And it's one of the easier dungeons to go ahead and complete, so might as well. As we see here what's behind the big key chest in pod.
Wow, Titan's mitts.
An upgraded pair of gloves. No glove, no love, but we've got plenty of that. We have the power in our hands to lift up dark, heavy rocks at any point that we want to now.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see how that affects Nobly's routing. And yeah, Nobly is going upwards towards Skull Woods. I like this play. I like leaving the south Village of Outcasts and east Kakariko / Village of Outcasts checks to Obscure Lifeform, since they can do a bit more, having found that Titan's mitts earlier.
Yep, and with that mirror, you're able to do Graveyard Ledge. You can loop into King's Tomb. You can give a peek to Bumper Cave. As we see inside of King's Tomb, just some dollars left over for Princess Zelda. It was part of his will.
So both our runners... Interestingly, both pairs of runners seem to be pretty linked. Toplife and Nobly are following a similar pattern as are Shippou and Obscure Lifeform. Just 300 rupees in the Graveyard Ledge, though.
As we see, one of the hardest tricks to pull off a randomizer or Link to the Past, a hammer jump, beautifully executed by Obscure Lifeform. Shippou is not going to be far behind as we find a piece of heart inside the big chest and 3 more blowing up blueberries inside the bottom right. Shippou is electing to go ahead and go right. Makes sense, you have the mirror, you can go right and just loop everything in from that direction. Really not that big of a difference in time. Especially since you're going to be checking this anyway. Small keys in the basement, which means more than likely there's going to be an item here in the Harmless Heckway.
Blue cane.
Blue cane, which only helps us with Spike Cave. Should we elect to go check that relatively soon. As we get a front check here from Topplife.
Spike Cave wouldn't be the worst option to check now, with the Titan's Mitts as well, and the hookshot that opens up 6 chests on the dark East Death Mountain side.
As we find our first item here in Skullwoods, it's just 10 arrows. As we prepare ourselves for a dueling Helmasaur fight from Obscure Lifeform and Shippou.
Ooh.
Shoot the Igor statue in the eye to open up this secret wall. Gonna have a couple of dark rooms, including the most evil of turtle rooms coming up here in the dark with a fighter sword. More than likely gonna see hammer strats versus them. Alright. Our second item in Skullwoods is locked behind Fire Rod. It's with that Mothula somewhere either in that bridge chest or on the evil kaiju monster.
Yeah. Topplife proceeding onward anyway in order to read the pedestal.
Makes perfect sense.
Not a pedestal seed today. But nonetheless, we'll be getting all 3 of the pendants.
Yep, in all dungeons, you're hoping it's something very weird, like, I don't know, a cape or a bottle. Perhaps even silvers. To tease you to, do I really want to pull this after I do all 3 pendants, or do I want to leave it? As it looks like Toplife's heading on over to do Pod and Eastern. So you see Obscure Lifeform go ahead and complete his Helmasaur fight to get that blue pendant, which, you know, we had all 3 pendants early on in progression, so, you know, that pedestal check is very good information to have. Just tell your partner, hey, you don't have to go pull that, don't worry about it.
Yep, Obscure Lifeform heading right up into Eastern, and Shippou on the Helmasaur fight now. Toplife looks to be doing the same play, doing both Pod and Eastern in sync. And Nobly having used the Kern jump in order to get into Dark Lake Hylias to grab the flute, is now has a bit of a mobility advantage and can also pick up the Mire Shed checks and see what that medallion is once getting the Titan's Mitts.
Yep, you have a choice there to get that flute either by doing the current jump, which requires you to toss a bomb as you fall into water. It pushes you through a screen transition, or through the Ancilla clip, where you overload sprite slots in the game and allows you to use a fake flipper because the game can't figure out what it's doing with so many items on the screen. So we get our first peer into Eastern Palace. We've got ourselves a staffless room. First check is a piece of heart. Our third check in Eastern is going to be the compass, as Topplife and Nobly are going to be doing some follow the leader here. Just 20 bucks in the big chest of Eastern Palace, along with the big key on the right-hand side. We could have deduced that once Obscure Lifeform opened up that big chest. So that means it's either map or an item inside the dark room here, or through the dark room at least, to get the big key chest itself. This seed so far has been quite linear, which is not super great if you're doing co-op, because that means one person's finding everything and everyone else is just kind of lagging behind. We see a damage boost here to hit the switch. Just the map. The item is on Armos. We'll see if Shippou decides, no, I'm going to go do Armos. Nope. I'm going to go check that big key chest. As we see Topplife here just saying, yep, I got my Titan's Mitts, I've got the big key, I've got the small key, I'm just going to go right to Helmasaur.
That is definitely the advantage when the seed is linear. Since one person has experience with the dungeons, it's not quite as hard for the second person to catch up, because they'll know what chests to open and what chests to leave behind.
As we're getting ready for our first Armos fight of the seed, Obscure Lifeform is going to be dealing with some red Igors, some worms, and then the Armos.
So other places still in Logic. We haven't seen Zora yet. We haven't seen Catfish. With potential splash deletion, we could also see Waterfall Cave and Zora's Ledge. We haven't seen what's on that Bombos tablet, although we can't get that item yet.
I would be shocked if we don't see someone going up the mountain here again with those Titan's Mitts, hook shot. We have a blue cane.
Mm-hmm. We haven't seen the East Kakariko checks yet, either.
Yeah, we also have Smith Chain to do with that. So there's a couple options here. Pyramid Catfish into Zora check makes a lot of sense. It's 3 checks, but they're all kind of out of the way. With the Mirror Titans, you could do your Smith Chain, and Dark Death Mountain is also fully open. That will give you the Turtle Rock Medallion, that will give you Spike Cave, that will give you Hookshot Cave. Total of, let's see there, that's 2 plus 4, 6 in total if you didn't check the tablet. As it looks like Noble Foxes is going into Thieves Town. There was no progression in Thieves Town. I guess just I can go get the big key, go get blind, and be done.
Right. Yep, as long as you're not... Even if you're not getting more information, as long as you're completing dungeons, it's still a good use of your time.
Yeah. Especially Thieves Town, it's quite linear. You just need the big key, blow up the floor, go get blind, and be done. So
yeah. So Shippou is going to be checking this Bombos tablet.
Makes sense. Probably going to be entering Kakariko from the south. Going to give K45 a look, dig game, Stumpy, And then go do probably Smith Chain, ending up with either a save and quit or a purple chest glitch where you can dash over to the locksmith without having the chest in tow. Very easy glitch to use, but it's a little tricky. The key to using the chest glitch here is not going back into Light World until you are absolutely certain you are turning in the chest.
Red mail in Cave 45.
As we get our second fashion upgrade, very stylish red link here on Shippou's side.
Yep, definitely a healthy seed this game. We'll see if Toplife ends up picking up the red mail. Given that K45 is a bit out of the way, probably not.
Yeah, with Stumpy having 10 arrows, if chess game has nothing, you will just say, nah, I'm good. And Toplife and Nobly have more hearts. They have 12 in total. Blue mail, you're fine. That's 24 total hearts that you can use. You're good. So all of our runners, once should Obscure Lifeform get that mail upgrade, they'll have the same amount of hearts, even though the count doesn't look like it's the same. So we find a red boomerang in the dig game. Shippou here going to be picking up Jeremiah the Bullfrog. He is a bullfrog, but soon to be a good friend of mine. Gonna loop in Hammer Pegs. He does have the powder, so he can go ahead and check Magic Batter as well.
Does Shippou have the powder? Okay. Yep.
I was saying.
There, I just saw it.
I was saying they should have the powder.
Just a rupee in Hammer Pegs. Not as much of a good friend. Obscure Lifeform is now finishing up Blind. We'll see where they decide to go after that. Top Life heading south. This might be Fake Flippers into Ice Palace, or... Oh no, Top Life hasn't done Mini Moldorm Cave yet.
Which is the Bombos Medallion.
Yeah, then it might be Fake Flippers into Ice Palace.
Alright, we've got a sacrificial bat who lives in the blood fountain. You sprinkle some magic fairy powder onto it, and he gives you today a
Master
blue
Sword.
sword. Nothing like a blue sword to make your day a little bit easier. Now it'll be interesting to see if Top Life goes ahead and picks up the powder to go get this sword. There are 2 more swords in the pool, but they could be in GT, and Fighter Sword, everything else, is a bit of a pain. As we see some Gibdo manipulation, some evil hands falling from the wall. Obscure Lifeform able to manipulate the Gibdos just in a way to go ahead and pull that statue all the way out and check this last check, which is going to be nothing.
Yeah, Top Life is making the Dark Death Mountain check.
And we see Shippou using that chest glitch where you drop him off in Dark World and you can dash. He's going to mirror right next to the locksmith, and it will count all the same. Just a treasure trove of $50 dues as we get our first look inside of Super Bunny. $5 in Quake.
Quake medallion.
As we get a blind pet pull from Obscure Lifeform, it's hype time. He's just gonna get some couch cash.
Could have read it instead, but it's much more exciting to do the blind pull. $20 and now the Lost Woods looks a little prettier.
Yep, as Shippou heads into Ice Palace here. No red cane, so no icebreaker glitch unless we happen to find it in the Penguinator room.
There's the flippers on top left side in Hookshot Cave.
He's gonna be heading to Swamp Palace here very, very, very soon.
Yep. We'll also get to see that medallion. It is the one medallion that they don't have, the Ether Medallion, required to open Turtle Rock. And Top Life does not have that blue cane and won't be able to route in the Spike Cave check as well.
Yeah, 12 hearts. With Hookshot, it's going to be super, super close. You need to move super fast with that, and it's just not worth the gamble or the time sink. As we find a map in the Penguinator room. No icebreaker today, at least to start, for Shippou.
Yep. But what Shippou's doing is in logic, given what we know.
Yep, just unfortunately doing it out of sequence. No big deal, though. We like to cheat here.
Nobly going to check using the Ancilla Splash Deletion to check Waterfall Cave, possibly the ledge, and finally see what's on King Zora. All the runners have well over 500 rupees, and have also opened up Pod at this point.
As Obscure Lifeform finds that blue sword on a bat, we find explosions and a bloomerang inside of Waterfall Fairy. Ooh, Shippou's struggling a little bit with the Ice Palace bomb jump. With the new icebreakers, this is a throwback to February 2020 strats.
Third
Or
time's a
NMG.
charm.
As we get a first look into Swamp map in that first chest, Zora has for us some expensive explosions. And Shippou here is going to be checking iced tea. You don't have a small key, so you're going to have to go right first, buddy. Yep, there you go.
So Nobly checking Ice Rod Cave. I don't believe we've seen the Mire Shed or Mire requirements yet from Nobly.
Not yet. That might be where he goes next. Have your partner go do Death Mountain since they have access to it as well. You're not flute locked, so... There's a mushroom. Alright, I'm just gonna fake flipper. As we're gonna get our first look at the hobo who lives underneath a bridge. Normally he would give you a bottle. Let's see what he has for us.
Just 20.
Nobly deciding to go up the mountain here. Oh, nope. Floating. Nope. Okay. Yep, and there's the Mire play. More than likely, Obscure Lifeform is going to be heading over to do Death Mountain himself.
So let's see. Top Life making their way through Swamp Palace. We'll see what's on that left side.
And nothing so far in Swamp. Mushroom in Ice Palace. And it looks like Obscure Lifeform is going to go do fake flippers into ice. I don't know why he decided to run. No flute. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's right. I confused who had the flute.
Yep, just Nobly, thanks to the getting through the dark lake early.
Alright, well there's one more item here in Ice Palace. It's going to be on Cold Stare. As left side swamp. Got nothing for you. It's also going to open up Pyramid Fairy here for top life. Having the second red crystal after pond. So more than likely we're going to see that Pyramid Fairy, Pyramid Check, Catfish all looped together there. There's some dollar dues.
Okay, now Nobly is checking the Mire Shed area. So we'll see what medallion we need for Mire. Get 3 items. The medallion is Bombos, which Nobly has already.
Yeah, a Mire dip here makes a lot of sense. You can't complete it without the red cane, but it is 2 items. You're kind of running out of stuff as you find the fire rod inside of the Mire Shed. That is in logic once our runners over at Noble Foxes find the flippers.
Neither of them have made that play up to Death Mountain in the dark yet.
Top Life is more than likely after this probably going to go get the flutes after doing Pyramid. That's what I would imagine. You can kind of just go over there real quick, loop in all your flippers checks that way.
Yep.
Oop, Obscure Life Form.
Sword upgrade from Nobly's side in Checkerboard Cave. Obscure Life Form nearly forgets that key, but gets it back.
Again, that Icebreaker has changed routing for Ice Palace and Randomizer, and a lot of people put off Ice Palace until you have that red cane. When I have to IPBJ, I always forget to pull the tongue to spawn the chest to open the door.
Top Life making nice work on Argus using the hookshot and spin strats with that fighter sword.
Yeah, ironically, Argus is the only boss where fighter sword is actually as fast as any other strat because of that spin.
And good job using that ice rod as well during the second phase.
Up and gets a big key from Argus. Is he going to go ahead and pop back inside and check the big chest? There's literally no better time to do it. And then you can tell your partner, hey, don't worry about it. Just go to Argus and you're good.
And it looks... In the meantime, it looks like we'll be getting a mushroom check from Shippou. Top Life does go back in.
Yeah, no reason not to go back in. You're kind of already here. Everything's already flooded for you.
Exactly.
You're still a few items away from go mode. As it looks like Shippou found the Ether Medallion.
Oh, I missed when that happened.
Let's see here. What would they have been doing? It probably Ice Palace then? Off Cold Stare.
That was
probably.
Cold Stare, yeah.
That's what I'm thinking, is off a Cold Stare. So, right now, Black Lotus has everything to complete the, or at least open up the Mire and Turtle Rock entrances. Unfortunately, you can't do much in Turtle Rock without that red cane, and you can't finish Mire without it at all, so...
Yeah, they don't know that the Fire Rod is in Mire Shed yet, but Shippou making their way up Death Mountain now, going to be able to grab those flippers. Top Life grabs that flute, so if Top Life makes the play to Mire Shed quickly, then they'll have the same information that the Noble Foxes do. So it looks like the last item that we're going to be looking for is the red cane.
Yep, and that red cane could be just about anywhere but Turtle Rock. So we'll see where it is. Shippou here, having that blue cane is going to be able to route in Spike Cave here after picking up the flippers.
Yeah, the Noble Foxes haven't made that play up to Dark Death Mountain either to grab the flippers. Might be holding off to hope to find Kane in order to do that, and then maybe try to clear Turtle Rock on that same trip up to Dark Death Mountain.
As we see Top Life here picking up the hobo, he's going to look at Pyramid. I don't know if he's forgotten that. Oh, Skullwoods is the red crystal. We have, I confused Pod with the red crystal. So, yeah, Skullwoods is your other red crystal, so no need. As Pyramid is just 10 arrows, he's going to go ahead and pop over, see what Catfish has. If Catfish is Red Cane, this is advantage Black Lotus. Because Fire Rod's not in a bad spot at all. Red Cane on Catfish is, though. Catfish is one of those checks that a lot of runners orphan off. It's kind of out of the way. And unless you can loop it in with Fairy Fountain, mirroring into Fairy Fountain, doing Zora, it's kind of hard to justify taking what is basically a minute to go do one check.
I thought that we had seen Catfish on the Noble Fox's side.
Did we? I don't remember.
Because I know Obscure Life Form was doing the Installa glitches earlier. Okay, Catfish is just a piece of heart. I don't believe that we've seen Spike Cave from either of the runner's sides, though.
We just saw it, and it looks like there is a digging utensil in it.
Oh, the worst.
A fetch quest to go do a fetch quest. Always hard to do those one-off singular checks. As it looks like Shippou's going to be going right into Swamp Palace. Literally nothing inside of it, so you can just go do Argus and be good to go. Or he's going to... Yeah, he's going to go get the flute first. That makes a lot of sense.
That makes sense.
Since you can go mode Swamp Palace, you can kind of leave it for last.
So Shippou also not far away from grabbing that fire rod.
Now, we do still have one more item left in Skullwoods. It's in the back here. Well, it'll be super interesting to see if it is going to be that Red Cane. Outside of that, we don't have much left to look for. Would be kind of jerkish for the seed to put Red Cane in Mire. But it has been known to like to be in its home somewhere, so...
Top Life grabbing that flute now. We'll see if they decide to enter Mire.
And our flute friend left for us 10 arrows. No thanks. We've got plenty. It looks like Nobly's just going to go right to Mothula, hope for the item on the Kaiju monster. As we get a bottle check here. As Black Lotus picked up a bottle, probably in Swamp. Just $5 from the sick kid. And Shippou heads their way over to Mire. So does Top Life. So both of the Black Lotus runners are going to be picking up their fire rod here. I would imagine one of them is going to be dipping Mire as the other one finishes Skullwoods. Nice poke dash. That poke dash takes off a quarter of the health of Mothula, depending upon what type of sword you have. And then it's just chuck fire rod or swing harder at him, and you're good to go. As we see Black Lotus head into finish Desert.
Yep, Top Life hasn't done Desert yet, but Shippou has. So if either of them dip Mire, it'll probably be Shippou, but deciding to go do Skullwoods instead.
Yeah, at this point,
given that you found the fire rod.
Yeah, you leave it to Top Life. He's going to be staying in the area anyway, so...
Okay, now, finally, the Noble Foxes are heading up their way to Dark Death Mountain.
As we see Obscure Lifeform use that Splash Deletion glitch to pick up their flute. Unfortunately, you need those slippers to do Swamp Palace. But they're going to be finding those relatively soon from Hookshot Cave.
Right, and since Swamp Palace is a crystal, it would necessitate 2 trips up Death Mountain regardless.
Yep. As Skullwoods was not our answer for Red King. We know it's not up Death Mountain. Just kind of going through possibilities of checks here. It's more and more likely that our Red King is going to be inside of Misery Mire. There's not much left in the overworld to check.
It certainly seems that way given what we know. Did we see the shovel spot check?
Yes, it was 10 arrows. The only thing left on overworld that isn't checked is Pyramid Fairy, to my recollection.
Okay.
Otherwise, everything else is checked. K45. We've had both tablets checked. We've seen a green pendant turn in. We've seen Ped.
Okay, we might be pretty far from seeing a Pyramid Fairy check too. Depending on what Topplife
and Swamp Palace. Yeah, depending upon what Shippou goes to next, I would imagine he's going to go do Swamp next. Because then you can just loop in the Pyramid Fairy Bomb right afterward.
Mm-hmm. And Swamp is actually going to be pretty quick because they know that there isn't anything important there.
As we see Topplife with that fighter sword, electing to do hammer strats here on the land molas. Gets it done relatively quick. Again, not one of those fights that's hard, just more tedious.
Obscure life form heading up to pick up the flippers and might check Spike Cave in the meantime. Alright, will Topplife decide to dip into Misery Mire? It looks like that is the play.
Well, he's got a sword upgrade in Checkerboard. He's going to grab first.
Also true.
After that, it'll be an interesting call, as Black Lotus has already checked just about everything in the overworld except for Pyramid Fairy. You know Shippou's heading that way anyway. You might as well say, okay, I'm dipping Mire in case it's Red Cane.
Mm-hmm.
Because then at that point, you're left with, it's a Mire dip or it's on Pyramid Fairy. So, makes sense to go ahead and split this up. Nope, he's going to flute and turn in the bomb before Swamp. Or before Mire. Again, not a bad call.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always difficult to commit to diving inside a dungeon that you know you can't complete, especially when it's Mire. It only has 2 checks. Yep. One, potentially, if there's an item on the boss.
As we see Topplife going to go pick up their second sword upgrade from the Magic Bat, which means all of our runners are going to be near same equipment, at least mirrored. Top left, bottom right, kind of all together. Top right, bottom left, kind of all together. Very interesting, to say the least. And Shippou's just going to go right through Swamp Palace here. No need to check anything. As it looks like Toplife's just going to go do Skullwoods to get that crystal and go check the bomb, maybe. They're going to be completing dungeons at about the same time. Shippou's going to be a little bit ahead simply because Swamp's easier to get through than Skullwoods. You've got 3 overworld zone-ins and then a whole bunch of rooms you have to climb through. So
I also get a kick out of that. Topplife used the flute to move like 3 feet away. Does get that shield stolen by like, but not a super big deal for these runners.
As we see Noble Foxes going through Swamp, I'm sure one of them is going to go to the back and the other one's going to check left. If they're doing this at the same time, that would make sense. Yep. Nobly's just going to go right to the back. More than likely, Obscure's going to go left to check those chests. We know there's nothing inside of it. As we see Poke Dashes on the popcorn from Shippou. Interesting technique to use. It's very technical. You've got to be still holding your sword, use the item, and as you use the item, dash at the same time while still holding out your sword. Shippou, I have hypothesized, has 18 fingers on each of his hands.
Very nice Argus fight from Shippou. And Toplife gets Mothula in the meantime. Both of the noble foxes have now arrived in Swamp Palace.
And both Black Lotus, Lokiuses now have both red crystals, which means we're going to have a Pyramid Fairy Bomb here relatively shortly. Shippou's going to be slightly ahead.
Yep, looks like Shippou is going to be the one checking that.
At this differential time, Toplife might as well just kind of wait to hear what Shippou says.
They're gonna do Mire. They're gonna jump into Mire anyway until Shippou tells them that, hey, the Red Cane is in Pyramid Fairy. Nice using the hook shot in order to run with the big bomb.
As we get Misery open, Nobly finishes off. Argus finds a big key. Inside Pyramid Fairy, Piece of Heart.
There's
and
that
Red
Red Cane.
Toplife's gonna get the bad news and be like, oh, I need to get out of here.
Yep, and there goes Toplife mirroring out.
As Black Lotus is the first team to hit item go mode here. They don't have much left to complete. Shippou needs to do Thieves Town, Mire, Turtle Rock. Toplife just needs to do Ice Palace, Mire, Turtle Rock. Both of those dungeons, all three of those dungeons are going to be relatively quickly done by our runners over on the left-hand side. Obscure Lifeform, Nobly are going to be not far behind in checking that Pyramid Fairy. Just unfortunately just a little bit behind.
Yeah. Nobly will be able to do it a bit earlier. It's interesting. The Noble Foxes had sequence broke in order to get the flute earlier, but because of doing that, they put off doing the Dark Death Mountain stuff a bit later than Black Lotus did, and thus weren't able to get the flippers quite as quickly as Black Lotus, and flippers ended up leading to Fire Rod. So it's interesting that it just happened to work. Routing-wise, it just happened to work out that getting the flute was potentially more of a red herring than it was worth.
Yeah, Flute's one of those items that it's nice to have, but it literally unlocks one area, and that one area has one of the last dungeons, which means it's very much hard-locked, and only 3 overworld checks. So it's a gamble to say, okay, if there's something big over there, which there was, it was Fire Rod,
Yes.
but, you know, when it's hard flippers locked like that, so Flute was Dark World Access locked, Flippers locked, and Mirror locked. That's hard. That's 6 items kind of blocking your way to get that flute, to then go to an item area that has an additional item that you need to unlock it for. So
Exactly.
as Nobly
Also, a very nice bomb diver down on from Obscure Lifeform.
As Nobly picks up that Red Cane, tells his partner, hey, Red Cane's in Pyramid Fairy, go do that when you're done with Swamp. And they have entered item go mode, except for they don't have the Ether Medallion. Nobly's going to have to do Ice Palace first.
Mm-hmm.
So...
And that looks like it's going to be the play right now. So Nobly actually has the advantage of being able to do Ice Palace with the Red Cane and can get the items quicker.
Yep. So this race is still relatively close. It looks like Noble Foxes are slightly behind, but not far enough behind that a bad GT route can make up the difference.
Toplife also has that Red Cane and can route their way through Ice Palace nicely.
And we did get a God Mire, which means we got the big key in the first 2 checks of Mire. For these runners, it's, yep, nice. We can just go ahead and just go right to the back, fight Vitreous, not have to look for anything.
Cane dash stats are pretty nice.
Right now, the difference in this race might be if the Noble Foxes somehow find silver arrows. That will make up a little bit of time on Ganon. Probably not enough to make up the difference if you have half magic, fire rod, temper sword making her climb up GT. But it still would be a help if they have that over our Black Lotus team. As it looks like Toplife's having a little bit of difficulty with the Icebreaker glitch. Now, in order to do this glitch, you need to enter yourself into what is called a door state. And you kind of push yourself into that wall there, you push down a Samaria block, you turn left for 1 pixel, and then you hold up, and you're able to walk through the wall. As we see Obscure Lifeform pick up their Fire Rod, it's going to pick up their upgraded sword. Obscure Lifeform still hasn't done Skullwood, so yeah, Obscure Lifeform is a little bit behind. They're going to need to go do Skullwoods as quickly as possible and go pick up that Pyramid Fairy.
Yep, so it looks like the route for Obscure Lifeform will be Skullwoods, Pyramid Fairy, Mire, and then Turtle Rock. Nobly will get into Mire very shortly after clearing Ice Palace.
As Toplife just hit their item go mode by picking up the Ether Medallion in the Freeze Orb room of Ice Palace. They are short a little bit of magic to kill Cold Stare, though. And I don't think they have a blue goo. Did they get... That's green inside their bottle. They have a green goo. They're good.
Yeah, and they can use the Bombos Medallion to unfreeze them easily.
Yep. Just adds in a little bit of time, but not a significant chunk enough that you go, it's not worth it. As we see, Cold Stare gets shoved into the corner, takes 8 slashes, along with that spin. Takes him down.
Very nice fights.
Oh, Shippou missed the, what is affectionately called the God Pixel in the Heckway. If you stand on the conveyor belt on a very specific pixel, you can dash through all of the enemies, and even when you get that pixel, it sometimes just does not want to work. Alright, we're in the home stretch of this race here. Just to remind you that we do have a race coming up later this evening on this channel between Land of the Blind and New Hyrule Order. That's SCJ and McMonkey representing New Hyrule Order, Ben Creighton and some scrub named Worldwide Wimpy running for Land of the Blind. That's at 7:40 Eastern, right here on this channel. And you can also check out the Invitational League playing all week long for the next 7 weeks on Speed Gaming Channel and Speed Gaming Channel Network here on twitch.tv. Also remember, you can follow these runners by hitting the !R command in Twitch chat. It'll give you links to their Twitch channels. All of them run on the Link to the Past randomizer ladder, along with your commentating team and trackers, which is !C. Thank you very much to our wonderful trackers today, Dark Diplomat and Duo Deca. It is a thankless job, but it is a good job that they are doing nonetheless.
And it's an incredibly difficult job trying to keep track of 4 streams at once.
As we see Obscure Lifeform going to pick up their red cane, Toplife heading through Mire themselves, Shippou dealing with a blind fight. 2 hearts, but he's got half magic, he's got a blue cane. You just kind of just go, here blind, have some sparkle dust, and you go down. As it looks like Nobly and Toplife are going to be entering Turtle Rock at the same time. Shippou's not going to be far behind.
And nice
Obscure-
spooky glitch on top life side as well.
Spooky glitch. Nice and easy to set up, but super tricky to keep maintained. With a Godmire, though, with that big key being so early, you just have to throw your Fire Rod at some anti-fairies between the 3rd and 4th block, and then shoot a Fire Rod at that right-hand torch, and you're good to go. Top Life decides to get a little bit of a top off from that anti-fairy. No half magic, so he's going to be doing spin strats here on Vitreous Eyes. You take the 1 heart of damage from the acid, you let go of a spin, you hope you get 3 or more eyes, and you're good to go. Sometimes you can get some very unfavorable RNG from the eyes there. You go left, and it's the back left eye that goes and taps you. And then all of a sudden you're pushed into the acid, you take 3 hearts of damage, and you've got 3 hearts of damage from the acid, and all of a sudden you're nearly dead.
Yup, it's bad news bears if that's messed up, but good on top life for nailing the spin strats.
As Shippou gets dead rocked, going
Oh,
to Turtle
no.
Rock. Gonna have to move over to the left a little bit. Lose about 7 seconds of running over to open up that portal. Not a big deal. Shippou's the one that's in the lead right now, so...
Nobly on the Noble Fox's side also making use of those damage boost spin strats. Doing a very nice job of it, although that back right eye always tends to get away.
As we get a look-see as to what's in Turtle Rock, Black Lotus solidly ahead, 1 dungeon ahead of Obscure Lifeform. Nobly's not that far behind, so an unfortunate fall in GT or a death could mean that Noble Foxes are able to catch up.
It'll be interesting to see how the runners route Ganon's Tower together.
And it could be something as simple as Top Life forgetting he doesn't have half magic on Trinex, and you just go, oh no, what have I done? It could happen. You never know. As we're going to get 3 Turtle Rock clears here, relatively close together, probably about, what would you say, a minute apart from Shippou and Top Life and Nobly. And Obscure Lifeform's going to be about 2 minutes behind Nobly.
That sounds about right.
As it looks like Obscure Lifeform either did not trigger his spooky glitch or decided that, nah, I'd rather have fairies for safety. And here comes the hardest room in the game, Chain Chomps. They hurt. And Shippou does a very nice, clean job of getting through that heckin' room.
Mm-hmm. You have to shoot the cane twice in pretty quick succession, otherwise those chomps will get you.
Yeah, those chomps you cannot manipulate until they decide they want to charge at you, otherwise their movement pattern is all RNG. They could go right toward the middle, they can go right towards you, toward the switch you like using.
They could play defense on both of the switches.
Yeah, they could wishbone and say, nope, you're not coming up to the top no matter how much you want to.
Yeah, a deceptively hard room, and executed very well on Shippou's side. Nobly is now also in Turtle Rock. Not too far behind the Top Life. Obscure Lifeform is going to be heading there very shortly, so this is still very much anyone's game.
It looks like Top Life decided to go right first instead of going toward the Spike Room chest, so... He's the full arena sequence ahead, which is about 45 seconds or so.
Definitely definitively ahead, but it's still very close and could easily come down to Ganon's Tower execution and potentially routing as well.
As we see Top Life get that bad Chain Chomp RNG.
Yeah. Those chomps are not kind.
As we are in a very close race.
So yeah, given that Top Life and Shippou are only about a minute apart from each other, it'll be interesting to see how they route through Ganon's Tower
I would think that each of you go, the first person goes right. If it's a small key, they continue right. If not, to do a full right-hand side clear. So that way they go do Armos and the other person goes to do left. That seems like that's about the equal amount of time that you can split up between them. Or you can say, do first 2 checks, do your standards. As we find silver in the bottom
arrows.
left chest of Turtle Rock on that laser bridge. Shippou's gonna have a nice, quick pig fight.
Yeah, also a nice key dash. And nice cane dash.
As we're gonna get our first peek into Trinex from Shippou. Gonna be nice and easy. You freeze the Firehead 3 slashes, switch to Fire Rod. After you freeze the head the second time, hit the Fire Rod. There you go. Nicely done by Shippou. Unfortunately, did do the backside strats on Trinex. Unfortunately, with that Tempered Sword, it's super difficult to one cycle that. You can, but you have to be nearly TAS bot fast to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, was a little bit too close to the head on that initial position for the second phase of the fight, but still gets through it absolutely no problem. And Shippou will be the first one into Ganon's Tower.
Which means it's time to open up our favorite game when it comes to Link to the Past randomizer, our GT Big Key guessing game, 1 through 22. Put your guess into chat now where you think that GT Big Key is going to be. Our winner earns the most greatest of prizes, fake internet points that you can spend on absolutely nothing. As we see a Chain Chomp room here. Oh, that jerk Chain Chomp decided he was going to stand in front of that Red Cane Blocks beam. Oof, and eats another one. These Chomps are not kind. They're jerks. As Nobly gets to the Dark Maze portion of Turtle Rock, as we see Top Life go on through. Now for our GT Big Key guessing game, we are using Shippou's number. No other numbers will count, so we're going to be counting along here on the show. Guess along at home and count along at home. 1, 2, he's going left. Check number 3 is going to be Bob's Torch. Bob's Torch is a small key. Rip Bob, we get to see his inverted version, which is Pop. Should we go toward the Ice Harmos and we see an anti-fairy? That is an anti-fairy. Make sure you say hello to Pop.
Four, 5, 6 is the lucky number.
Dark Magician's Room holding that big key. Shippou and Top Life now clearly having the advantage.
Mm-hmm. Still a lot of game left to play, though.
Yep. Pigfall, a GT Climb death, a Moldorm fall. Lots of things can happen. Nobly ended up not going down toward Laser Bridge to find those silvers, so they're going to be doing spin strats. So Black Lotus is going to
That's also a big difference maker.
Yeah, going to have a big advantage on the last phase of Ganon. 4 arrows versus 12 spins is approximately 50 seconds worth of work. Especially if you're able to get a couple of double arrows off on the pig.
Obscure Lifeform is also skipping Laser Bridge.
Makes sense at this point. If you feel behind and you don't think silver arrows are along the way, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
As Obscure Lifeform was trying to do the double switch, unfortunately that mini Helmosaur was giving him a heckin' time. As Shippou does a nice GT climb here, using that Fire Rod with half magic. He's got Tempered Sword. That means horses die to one swipe. Red Staphos has died a one swipe. Nice and easy climb.
Great Landmola's fight.
Yep, with those silver arrows, you can zero cycle it as long as you get good RNG. Sometimes they like to bounce left or take short hops, and then you're just like, really? Really? As we see the most satisfying rooms in all of Link to the Past Randomizer Entertainment. Wizrobes 1 and Wizrobes number 2.
Super satisfying.
As
Nobly grabbed that big key.
He was looking for silvers there. We know where silvers are at. Unfortunately, they're on Laser Bridge. As Shippou goes through this torch room. You gotta be careful with how quickly they make it through this room. They can cancel the next floor. And then you are just stuck having to make the climb all over again. No need for Shippou or Toplife to go ahead and look for Butter Sword in the chests here on the GT climb. That's the only thing that's going to help them. Perhaps another bottle for safety. But these runners are more than well enough with red mail tempered, blue mail tempered, 14 hearts to go ahead and go make some bacon by killing a pig. Two, and a zero cycle for Toplife.
Yeah, Shippou did not use the magic powder in that second to last room to grab the fairies, so we'll be doing both Aghanim and Ganon on 3.5 hearts.
When you have 25 fingers on your hand, it doesn't really matter.
Triple on Aghanim.
Yeah, that was pretty close to assured himself a triple.
Yep. So 3 is the absolute minimum number of cycles for this Aghanim, and Shippou just got it.
Oh no!
Nope, never mind.
Yeah, that first one was a double. It was really close.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, one more than the minimum is still pretty good.
I have actually done two triples before. It's hard. You have to get really lucky, but it can be done where you can go through a 2 cycle.
Mm-hmm. Aghanim also has to cooperate and not throw a blue ball.
Yep, you have to get supremely lucky. So most runners just work on the assumption it's going to be a 3 cycle anyway. And Shippou luckily remembered he has to do Aga 1.
Yep. So that's actually pretty helpful because Shippou will get a full health restore after doing Aga 1.
Yep, and with half magic, silvers, fire rod, temper sword, this is going to be quick. As we see Noble Foxes make their GT climb up, Toplife is going to be fighting a wizard as well.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his advanced geometry. Here's your trig. Oof.
Ooh, a little close to him.
Oof. That hurts. That was a 0. Oof. Ooh, and that was also a 0. That blue ball canceled out the hit on Aghanim from that energy beam.
Mm.
So he's only got 1 hit here on Aga. This could close the gap. There's 4 in total. He's got 2 more energy balls to chuck at the wizard.
Got him. Got him. Yeah, that's not a fight that you want to linger on. As the fight continues, the Aghanim clones get more and more out of sync, which only introduces problems.
As that red javelin guard hacks up Shippou a little bit. Shippou's just going to use a spin right here. Now, you can check a pot, check 2 pots, use your hook shot, grab the key, and you're good to go through this room. Let's see if Toplife remembers he has to do Aga 1. He does.
He does. Nice second wizard room from Obscure Life Form.
And a nice Moldorm 2 from Nobly. As there's our second bottle of the seed here in our verification chest. pin GT.
That's about as nice of an item as you could hope to find in validation chests, given what we know already.
Yeah, at least it's not lamp. As Nobly's getting ready for a wizard fight, Shippou's on his AGA 1 fight. Significantly easier than having a wizard and 2 shadow forms. 1 blue ball. 2 blue balls. Now, our runners are going to have the same amount of RNG for AGA 1. 3 blue balls. So there's not going to be any difference in time made up here. The only one that could have been made would be AGA 2 execution. Shippou did his about as well as you can do it. Topplife had a little bit of problems, but it seems as though there's not going to be much time made up on that front. Four blue balls.
Jeez. Aghanim doesn't want to play nice today, but as you said, that is an RNG that will affect both runners equally, so no time losses there.
Yeah, this is where NMG runs go to die. Is AGA 5 blue balls.
Oh my goodness.
Lots of PBs off to the 6 blue balls. Go to die on AGA 1. Alright, I think that's good. I think our maximum blue ball count is a go, because this is a guaranteed beam. This should be the last one. Nope, one more.
Oh, one more left. Alright, we can go up to 10. Alright, we're not going up to 10, thank goodness.
Frustration wall pulls from Shippou. No need to get frustrated, though. Everyone's gonna have the same amount.
Yep. And grabbing that full health and magic restore is very nice heading into the Ganon fight.
As both noble foxes remembered, this is all dungeons. We need to do Act 1.
Yep, not far behind at all.
We get our first pig fight. Nice double spins there from Shippou. Unfortunately, just a little late on it. Not one cycling with the tempered sword, but getting a nice pig placement for spins here.
Yep.
And he's face pushed. So all Shippou has to do is swipe at the pig 4 more times, then swipe at him a minimum of twice, maximum of 4, hopefully, to go ahead and call this race, at least for first place. Nice little double there from Shippou. You swing at that pig, you shoot 2 more arrows, and he's done.
Very quick fight.
Get your GGs in the chat for Shippou as he finishes this time in an official racetime.gg time of 1:27:15. Good job to Shippou and Black Lotus coming in first place of the seed. Now, it's still not guaranteed that Black Lotus wins this race. We do take the average time of both runners, so if Topplife happens to die, or fall, or die and fall, or fall twice, this could easily go to the Noble Foxes. Topplife begins his pig fight.
Wouldn't wish that on anyone.
No, you don't. That's an evil's bane. We do like our races close. As I say, I never root against anyone, but I will root for somebody positively. And I root for everyone. Everyone is somebody.
Yeah, Topplife also managing to get that good position on Ganon going into Phase 2.
Yeah. Now, Phase 3, its RNG is locked for our runners, but Phase 2 is, I do believe, not locked in RNG. So we could see the pig go in different directions in Phase 2 for Noble Foxes. Ooh, nice double! I don't think he's going to be able to get a double arrow off here. Oh,
Does.
nicely done from topplife. Sometimes that double arrow positioning is a bit tricky, but get your GGs in chat for topplife and Black Lotus as they're going to take this opening game of Season 3 of the ALTTPR Team League Open League with an official time of 1:28:59 in ringside GG. Black Lotus gets those all-important 3 points. As we see Obscure Lifeform and Nobly finish out their wizard fight. They're not going to be happy with the blue ball count. They're going to be just slightly behind in what was a very, very close race.
Yep. And they're still going to have an absolutely excellent time. This was an extremely close match.
Alright, Nobly starting his pig fight, going with the poke dashes. He was able to one-cycle the pig in the first phase, one-cycle the second phase. So his pig's fight... Oh, no, he just missed a poke.
Just missed one.
That's okay. He was able to shave off a little bit of time, approximately 8 seconds in that first phase from those poke dashes. So good job for him. Just saving a little bit of time. 4 more swipes. Gotta watch his health. But in phase 3 and 4, there's no reason for you to take any sort of damage. Especially, well, he's got his spin strats that he has no silvers.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's got to hope for a torch glitch, and then watch the pig hugs. Gonna get the bad news that his arrows were in Turtle Rock. The only thing they did not check was Laser Bridge. So he's going, man, they were on Laser Bridge.
You hate to see it.
Now, unlike Black Lotus's fight, you're going to have to swing at the pig 12 times. Spins are a little bit easier to hit him, but you can use swipes if you time it correctly. They count the same amount as regular damage, spins and swipes from the Tempered Sword. So this is going to be a 6-cycle pig versus the 1-cycle fight for Team Black Lotus. Using that torch glitch to their fullest. If you, before the second torch goes out on the right-hand side, if you use lamp or fire rod, you're able to keep that right side torch lit, as Nobly uses those spins with the bacon sword to make more bacon, and gets an official time of 1:32:08 to finish up first for the Noble Foxes, unfortunately third in this co-op seed, and Obscure Lifeform not that far behind, makes that bacon with an official time in racetime.gg of 1:32:30.
Very, very solid times from every runner. This was an extremely close race from the beginning.
Get your GGs in chat for Team Noble Foxes as they finish approximately 24 seconds apart from one another in a co-op seed. That is good distance to have. Just unfortunately, putting off that Death Mountain climb to find those flippers just was not the choice to make today. Sometimes that just happens. And we do have our runners prepared for an interview after this race. GG's to Team Black Lotus on the win. GG's on Noble Foxes coming up just behind that. How are you guys feeling after this seed?
I want to play another one, but one with better item locations.
Yeah, this went really messy, especially when we skipped the flutes.
See, that's unfair, Shippou, because I hypothesized that you have 15 fingers on one of your hands. So, you know, good item placement means you get to complete this in like 45 minutes.
Absolutely. But you know, I didn't want to show off this time, so I took my time.
So the big difference in the seed was Team Black Lotus went up Death Mountain to find those flippers early, which meant they were able to go get the red cane a lot sooner from picking up the red crystal from Swamp Palace. Now, unlike you guys in Black Lotus, Obscure and Nobly went and did flipper deletion to go get the flute. Now it happened that the flute didn't really give you much outside of Fire Rod, but that difference in time of sequence breaking the flute meant they could put off their flipper dungeons for a while. Kind of go through the thought process for me, if you can, Nobly and Obscure, as to your decision to go ahead and just go get the flute and then activate it and have that quick travel.
My thought was basically I was on pod, and when he said that Titans were in... No, wait, I was in Thieves. And he picked up Titans in pod. I was like, okay, I'm gonna fake flipper and pick up my flute while I'm at it. And we have it, so it's done. And then we can check out Meyer and see if there's medallions we require, get the info. And if it was ped, it would have given me a quicker desert, and then it gave us the fire rod, and I was like hoping that we could pull out the red cane before even going to the mountain. Flippers were in like Turtle Rock at that point.
It's a gutsy call, knowing that, well, Meyer area is flippers locked because of that flute. So you were kind of banking on, okay, hopefully red cane and fire rod are locked behind flippers, which they were, just happened to be in different spots.
Yeah.
Know?
Well, I was basically hoping that red cane was on the mountain when I picked up the fire rod, though. And the flippers were in Turtle Rock, so we didn't have to double dip it at that point. But
yeah, that's a pretty good logic chain you're following. They're just, unfortunately, today you weren't racing me. Otherwise, flippers would have been in Turtle Rock, because that's where my flippers are always at.
And what's up
it doesn't-
with the 9 million blue balls?
Yeah, we counted, what, 7 in total?
No, it was 8.
It was 8, okay. 8 in total? Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah,
no.
I was like, after the second cycle, come on, game. Don't do this to me. Is this gonna be the 50 blue ball dream? 50.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Also,
then-
I would.
And then in the meantime, I'm sure you're like looking over. It's like, did anyone finish yet? Did they finish yet? Oh no.
Oh no, I don't have race time up until I've actually finished. So I'm not too concerned about that.
And then the big difference in the pig fight, Black Lotus ended up picking up those silver arrows from the last chest on Laser Bridge. I'm sure Obscure and Nobly were kind of feeling maybe a little behind with those flippers, skipping Laser Bridge. Unfortunately, it had your item that made the pig fight a little bit easier. But at that point, they were already making a GD climb versus you guys finishing up Turtle Rock. So it was really came down to those flippers being the difference in the seed.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too much difference we could have done in the route anyway. The only mistake we actually did was Obscure didn't listen.
Hey. I listen better than normal.
Yeah, usually. Basically, I told him to go and pick up his fire rod and do Skullwoods. And 2 seconds later, I hear him, did you check the first chest in Swamp? I was like, what? Why are you in Swamp?
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, I'll go mode Swamp, check Pyramid Fairy. And if it's not there, then you go Swamp and do left side. And then I will do Front of Escape, and then I'll do Meyer checks afterwards.
So you guys have yourselves a rematch tomorrow at the very same time here, more than likely on the ALTTPR race channel. Is there anything you want to say to your teammates who may be running tomorrow as good luck going forward?
Well, tomorrow it's basically a Norwegian clash. The Clash of the Norway.
Oh.
Yeah. We have me and Hayfield from Norway, and Topplife and his brother from Norway.
Yep.
Well, is there any sort of mode you guys are looking forward to playing in the future in this open setting in this league? We've got Mystery coming up in like week 5. There's a few different settings going forward. There's an Atomizer at the end.
Yeah, I'm personally looking forward for the mystery week. That's gonna be like my thing.
You're not good in mystery, are you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the spoilers.
Yeah, the pilot key sanity, right? That's also a thing that's really nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm
I've-
looking
I've-
forward to actually trying Pilot seriously.
I've never actually given that a try myself, so that'd
No,
be
me
very
neither.
exciting.
Like my previous teammates had some awful time zones for me, so I just let them have all the fun with it.
Oh, all right.
All right, well, thank you guys very much for putting on this awesome race today. GG's to you tomorrow, both Noble Foxes and Black Lotus, and in the future of this league. Remember, you could see the two teams face off in a rematch tomorrow at 1:40 p.m. Eastern Time in the U.S. It's going to be Top Life and I'm Too Good for Black Lotus, Hayfield Bay, and Nobly running for the Noble Foxes. You guys have yourself a good rest of your day. I'm going to finish out by closing out. Remember, you can follow all of the runners and commentary teams as well as your trackers by hitting the exclamation point R and exclamation point C. That will put into Twitch chat links to all of our participants in this ALTTPR Open League and their Twitch channels as well. Danny, any last comments?
GG, getting around 130 in a seed like this is absolutely an accomplishment. Congratulations to both of y'all and good luck tomorrow. Thank you, Wimpy, for being a fantastic co-commentator. Thank you to Dark Diplomat and Duodeca for tracking, Math Girl 718 for the restream, and looking forward to more fun rando races in this league.
Which includes later tonight at 7:40 p.m. Eastern, a rematch between Land of the Blind and New Hyrule Order here on the ALTTPR League. That's between SEJ and McMonkeys representing New Hyrule Order, Ben Creighton, and some low-life named Worldwide Wimpy racing for Land of the Blind. Make sure you check that out and all other races across the Speed Gaming network of channels, the ALTTPR League network of channels, as we are firmly in ALTTPR race season. Week 1, lots of randomizer if you love it across all of those channels. Thank you very much for joining us for this race today. I have been Worldwide Wimpy. You guys have yourself a good rest of your Tuesday.
Can I get in one last note to Top Life?
Hmm.
Can we please request another seed tomorrow with preferably some bottles?
Sure, just give us an early lamp. We would really appreciate that.
Early lamp. Can you get it earlier than this seed?
No, this is fine.
Well, GG's and thanks for the restream.
GG's.